Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from many and all corners of the universe. We find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote channel, and our quote for this month is, "You're so money you don't even know it." If you know where that's from, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat, or send us a DM on social media. But our guest on this episode of And I Quote is a sci-fi romance author. Please welcome Donna S. Frelick to the stage. Donna, welcome in.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're very happy that you're with us. Now, if you have any questions for Donna S. Frelick as we go throughout the course of this episode, by all means, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. Our producers are going to be keeping an eye on it as we go throughout the course of this program. But without any further ado, Donna, what would you say were some of your favorite books or writers growing up?
Favorite books or writers? Oh, my goodness. Well, when I was a really young kid, I probably took out of the school library about 50 times Swiss Family Robinson, which is, it's not a remotely a science fiction book, but I love the idea of getting, shipwrecked on an island somewhere and having to come up with your own survival techniques and clobber stuff, into something that would help you survive. And so, it was a big book. And so I would never get all the way through the book by the time you'd have to turn it back in. So I would keep renewing it and getting it back out of the library. So I probably took that book out. You'd probably see my name on this book, taking it out of the library about 50 times. That was one of my favorites. Then when I got a little older, I was really into Charles Dickens. I read all of Charles Dickens. I still love Charles Dickens. And especially here at Christmas time, I'm going to watch every version of A Christmas Carol that there is. I love all the iterations of A Christmas Carol. And because I loved his sense of social justice, still have a strong sense of social justice. I'm an Aquarius, so, I'm all about the revolution, man. So I loved that. Then when I was about 11, I got into science fiction, and Ursula K. Le Guin was one of the first writers that I ever read. She came out at the time. There were, I believe it was Del Rey that put these books out. There was one novel on one side and another novel. You flipped it over and there was another novel. So you got 2 in 1, which was great if you were saving your little pennies as a kid to get 2 in 1. So she was one of the first writers I ever read. And then, of course, just after that, when I was 13, Star Trek came out, and and that was that. So, yeah, I had all of the New Age writers were big influences for me. All the New Age writers, and that whole, there was a series called Dangerous Visions of short stories. And I read all of the volumes of Dangerous Visions, and they had a big influence on me, especially the female writers in that series.
My goodness. Well, as long as Muppet Christmas Carol is one of the iterations that you
Of course. Yeah.
It's the best of all time, by the way. Hashtag those are the facts, not opinions, because of Michael Caine. And the Muppets are great. The Muppets add magic to everything they touch.
Of
So
course they do. They do.
as long as you're watching that version, and then you got, speaking of Star Trek, I believe Picard himself, Patrick Stewart, did a version of A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
He was Scrooge,
Yes, he
and he did a
did.
great job on that. I think that was a TNT original movie back in the day. That was like a TNT Saturday night movie for them. So, hey, as long as you watch those two versions, we can still be best friends.
Okay. All right.
You're a Trek fan.
No
so
trouble.
it's like,
No
you don't
trouble
like
there.
Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart, we got problems. It's like, how can you not like
Yeah.
Picard?
Well, I'm a classic fan, but
respect
I do
that.
like Picard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect that. A lot of people are TOS fans, which is fine. It's completely fine. That was their generation. That was their thing. It brought them into sci-fi as a whole, and
That's
I get
correct.
that. And
correct.
this is gonna probably strike people as a bit odd, but of the original, I can't speak to the series because I haven't seen TOS. But as far as the original series motion pictures that came out, back in the back in the day, my favorite just happens to be Search for Spock. I actually like.
Really?
No, that throws
Okay.
everybody off, but I actually like Search
Yes,
for Spock
it.
the best
Okay.
of the original
that's-
six. Of the original six.
You are unusual in that.
Yeah.
On my
'Cause
own podcast, which is My Movie House, My Rules, is my own podcast. I do TV and film reviews, not only science fiction but all genres. My friend Glenn Lash and I just did a whole review of all the first 6 movies, and we both agreed that Wrath of Khan is our favorite. Just Ricardo Montalban. I mean, he's just so wonderful. And there's just so much to talk about in that movie. And then, of course, Star Trek 4, the return home. The Voyage Home, yeah.
Voyage. That's the one where we save the whales. The PS.
The whales, yeah, the whales. Because of the because
Computer.
it's yes, computer.
Computer, where are you? Computer.
There's so much in that that's so funny.
Mhm.
Do you like Italian? Yes, no, yes, no. We love Italian. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
a lot
one
of people say that the even-numbered installments are the better ones of
Yeah.
the series. So people
Yeah.
have said that for decades. People say Wrath of Khan's the best thing since sliced bread. I get it. I mean, I like it. I just don't like it nearly as much as I do Search for Spock. But that's okay because you can like Trek as much as you want in different ways. It's fine.
That is correct.
It's all good. I like Search for Spock, and Donna S. Frelick just happens to like Wrath of Khan because Ricardo Montalban is ripped in that movie. So
That is correct.
he got ripped for that movie. He literally did. He put himself through the ringer to get in shape for that movie. So congratulations.
And you gotta appreciate that. You gotta appreciate it.
Yeah, that's commitment to your, what is it called? Commitment to your craft. So there you go.
Yes.
That's commitment. But the best thing we got out of all of that whole series is simple: live long and prosper. So
Yeah.
among other things, there were a
Among
lot of
other
quotables.
things.
Among other
Yes,
things.
a lot.
But you mentioned some good names there, some good stuff. And by the way, your podcast, that's very intriguing. I'm gonna have to check that out definitely for sure. Because I've been a movie buff since I was like 3 or 4. So I got opinions.
Me too.
For days.
Me too. Good,
Yeah.
good.
I got some interesting things to say. If you're ever looking for guests on that podcast, just give me a holler. Call me
great.
on the portable talking device, Mr. Scott, ready to be
The communicator. Yes.
communicator. Thank you. Call me on the comm device. Yeah.
Well, in fact, yes, I have one.
There you go. Yeah, we all. Yeah.
I'm old school. I am definitely
Ooh,
old school.
Okay, still kicking it with the flip phones, folks.
I
Yeah,
am,
flip phones
yeah.
are still a thing,
What can I
ladies and
say?
gentlemen. Feel free to look them up at your local phone retailer. But with that being said, which by the way, that is not a sponsor of this show.
No,
It's not a sponsor, but if
you
wanna talk
didn't.
about-
I did not show you which kind
No.
I had, but
It's a simple
Okay.
phone for a simple person. No, not a simple person, but we'll let that one slide. So outside of Star Trek and some of the other writers and stories that you've
Mhm.
mentioned thus far, what would you
Yeah.
say? You mentioned Star Trek, but were there any other favorite movies or TV series, past or present, that you enjoy?
yes, Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone and Rod Serling had a huge influence on me. I started watching that when I was a really young child and had to look through my fingers. Yeah, literally to watch. I had an older brother. My older brother is 10 years older than me, and he watched that sort of thing. And I had to hide out in the hallway sometimes and watch past my bedtime with just through my fingers because it was so scary for me. But I loved it. I love the twist endings. I love the idea of some kind of alternate universe or something happening below the surface, something that's, that the world is not what you think it is. And this has influenced all of my writing. Something is happening that you don't know about. People just go about their daily business and something else is going on. And that all of my non-track writing has been about that. All of the Interstellar Rescue series is about that. And my new Alienville series would be about that. So that, and then I liked, as it, X-Files came out. I loved X-Files. I loved the undercurrent of sexual tension between Mulder and Scully. Loved that. I never think it works when they ruin it. At the end, they kind of ruined it and jumped the shark when they got together. But the whole sexual tension thing between the two of them led me to science fiction romance. But that was always there with Star Trek. Always there with Star Trek. I mean, Kirk had a girlfriend in every port, So when I started writing Star Trek fan fiction, I had to give him a partner who he could have and not get married and have kids with. He had his own lover who he could meet up with at various places and still, retain a relationship with that wasn't based on your traditional, we now set up a household. So, science fiction romance was part of that X-Files thing. And again, the whole idea that there's something going on that nobody knows about, or that they won't believe in. I loved Fringe. J.J. Abrams, I think, was great. So yeah, those are the things I love.
I'm seeing a bit of a pattern here.
You think?
it's all good, because as a wise person once said, the truth is out there.
The truth is out there.
It is out there. And I've watched X-Files myself. Good series. Got a little too alien-y for me after season 4 or 5. I got tired of the whole alien conspiracy. It's like, okay, guys, we get it. But like, there's a million other mysteries we could be solving rather than just, is the government experimenting on aliens or not? I mean, have there been aliens?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's move on. Like when they did, honestly, you go back and watch that. Just the first season of X-Files is ridiculously awesome because they had a different storyline almost every episode.
Every time. Mm-hmm.
It was a different case, different file, different evidence, whatever. And the theme song is classic. So it used to scare my daughter to death because she was in bed and she would hear that because we were watching it on Friday nights or whatever. And she still says she's freaked out by it. She's grown. Such a great theme song, though. You can't deny that. It's so great.
Correct.
Some really good names there. And the other name I want to mention is that for those of you who are just tuning in or watching or listening, this is, and I quote with our special guest, Donna S. Frelick, here in this episode. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Donna S. Frelick, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. More than happy to take those as they come in. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And we thank you for being with us. So when did you decide to become a writer?
I always tell people that I was a writer when I could hold the big pencil. As I was writing stories in kindergarten, first grade. And I don't know if I could, let's see. I wanted to be a journalist in high school and college. So I set my sights on that as a career. And then I got kind of sidetracked because I joined the Peace Corps and I went to Africa for a few years out of college. And I did 2 years in the Peace Corps. And then I worked for the World Bank, editing a newsletter for field workers. So that was journalistic kind of writing. And then I edited some work for the World Bank, tourism report for the government of the Gambia and the World Bank. And then I came back and worked for Peace Corps headquarters for 6 years. doing editing work and directing an information section of the Peace Corps headquarters. And then I retired. Peace Corps has a policy that you can't work for headquarters for more than 5 years. And I had extended it by a year, but they kick you out. So that's why they have no bureaucratic memory, if you will. They keep reinventing the wheel at Peace Corps. But anyway, so I was kicked out. So I decided I was going to retire from public life. So I did that. We bought 10 acres down in Central Virginia. And I started doing organic gardening, and I did some local journalism. And then I decided to do some writing. So fiction writing, which I had convinced myself I wasn't good at. But then I decided, well, okay, maybe I'll try this. And I did some Star Trek fan fiction writing. I started, I did some novellas, and I tried to, it was actually a novel, and I tried to get it with pocketbooks, and they weren't buying it because guess what? It actually had a progression in it. The characters aren't supposed to change. Pocketbook doesn't like the characters to change. So I figured that out pretty quickly. And then I sought out a fan fiction publisher called Orion Press. Orion Press is no longer around, but it was at the time. And we started selling it at Shore Leave, which you're very familiar with, the largest fan-run convention in the country. And that was about 1990, 91. So I had a lot of success with Orion selling. I did about 4 novels and 6 or 7 short stories with them. And I met a lot of great people at Shore Leave. And I fell in with Ann Crispin, who used to do writers' workshops at Shore Leave, a very famous science fiction writer. And she became a sort of mentor to me, passed away a few years ago. But she was the one that told me, you have a talent for romance. And when she said that to me, I kind of went, what are you talking about? Because romance at the time meant to me Harlequin novels, nothing that was anything that I read. But at the time in the 90s, all of romance was turning to paranormal romance, vampires and that kind of thing. And I started looking into it, and I thought the novel that I was working on that was not Star Trek would work very well as a science fiction romance novel. And that was Unchained Memory, the first in my Interstellar Rescue series. So I turned it into a romance novel, science fiction romance novel, and it took off.
All right. That's a heck of a neat, true Hollywood story, ladies and gentlemen. That was, but we thank you for sharing that with us. Do not get me wrong on that front. What would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer?
Rewards? I don't know. It's sort of a compulsion. It's a compunction, a compulsion. If you're a writer and you're truly a writer, you have to write. You have to get that stuff out of your head. So if you get it down on paper and you get it down correctly, if you get it down in the way that you want to get it down and you've done a good job at it, you feel good about that. You feel like you have done something, and it's a sense of production. It's a sense of creation. It's a sense that you have done something good. Whether anybody reads that or not is kind of secondary. You do that for your own sense of self. Yes, it's important that I think the secondary thing of that is that you want validation for that sense of self. Everyone wants a validation for their sense of self, I think. And that's why you publish. But in the first place, it's that you have to get that stuff out of your head or you might go nuts.
Yeah, last thing we want is for anyone to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So
Correct.
that is, that is, I think it's fair to say that's accurate. Well, on the opposite side of the fence, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges about being a writer?
The challenges. It's a slog. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, you have to sit down at the keyboard, if not every day, then on a regular basis, and just put your fingers on the keyboard and keep doing it. And that takes discipline, you know. And it's not just that. If you're going to get published, and this is for all these aspiring writers out there, I don't know if there are any, but if there are some, here's the thing. If you're going to get published, then you have to polish what you have written. You have to get it edited, not just edit it yourself. You have to get an editor. You have to pay an editor. You have to pay someone to do your covers. You have to make them look good. You have to then promote it on your own. You have to do all that stuff now because nobody's going to do it for you. And that is twice as difficult as writing the damn thing. Back in the day, and this is a long time ago now, if you were lucky enough to get your book past the gatekeepers at a publishing house, and there used to be a lot more publishing houses than there are now, if you managed to get past the gatekeepers at one and somebody liked it and they published it, they did all that for you. Nobody does that anymore. You know, the people that do it now, there are probably, you can probably count them on 10 fingers. Okay. The people that get that promotion, Stephen King, Danielle Steele. Yeah, they get that. None of the rest of us get that. So we all have to get out there and slog and, you know, flog our novels and go on Amazon and, you know, do things. And yeah. And, you know, I can sell Girl Scout cookies. So that is not something I can do, but I've learned to do it.
Well, clearly the force is strong in your family. So what else is strong with this is that you are enjoying this episode of And I Quote with Donna S. Frelick here on this episode. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Donna, please let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Yep. And if this is your first time here, welcome. We thank you for being with us. Any other pieces of advice you would give to aspiring writers out there?
Pieces of advice. Okay. Yes. Limit your backstory. Do not info dump, please. Especially science fiction writers out there, please do not info dump. I'm a member of a little group on Facebook. It's Writers Helping Writers. And somebody was saying, well, I've set my book in the future and I don't know how to tell people that it's in the future. You don't? Describe it a little bit, but then just carry on with your book. If they can't figure out from what you're writing that it's set in the future, then you're not doing your job. But you can't just sit there and tell them for 50 pages that, and then the flying cars went by. And then, no, don't do it that way. Try not to info dump. Just try to give them a setting here and there that tells them they're somewhere else. Yeah. I don't know what else. Dialogue is important. Your characters are important. Make your characters be lively and three-dimensional. That's what I try to do. But then, you know, I see my stuff in my head like scenes, like a movie, and I just describe what I see.
Very good. That's a great idea. Visual example. People, yeah, and by the way, it's always good to use your imagination.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Hopefully you've got one if you're a writer. Yes.
yeah, yes. There's it never hurts to have a, you know, in the land of pure imagination. Boy, that goes back a number of years. Good Lord, that's going way back. That's long before some of us here. But I may be dating myself, but that's okay. With that being, gee willikers. With that being said, I do want to bring up something for you here and for you who may be watching or listening. This Interstellar Rescue series, goodness gracious, look how ridiculously good looking these covers are. But I'm just curious, if someone looks
beautiful?
at this and they're curious, what exactly is the Interstellar Rescue series and how did this come about?
Yeah. Okay. The idea of the series is that if you have the little gray aliens that everybody talks about, that everybody knows about, okay, with the big eyes and the, you know, the gray skin, I call them the grays. If they're coming to Earth to steal us away, and they're using humans for slavery, if you have interstellar slavery, then you should also have interstellar abolitionists. And so the Interstellar Rescue Organization are abolitionists, and they will rescue these people who have been taken and return them to Earth. And they've wiped their memories. They've wiped the taken people's memories so that they don't remember that they've been taken. They may lose time. Most of the people who have been taken, and I have, believe it or not, I have run into people who've told me that they have actually been taken. Many people just know that they've lost time. They don't know what happened to them during that time. Some people will have memories, flashes of memory of things that happened to them. A lot of the time it's negative. You know, they've been probed, they've been examined, things have happened to them that are horrible, but they only have flashes of memory. These are, according to my Interstellar Rescue books, these are people whose memories are starting to come back. The mind wipe has not worked for them, it's starting to come back. And in the very first book in my series, the heroine, Asia, has been taken. She's lost 3 hours of time. In that 3 hours of time, something horrible has happened here on Earth. And she needs to know what has happened to that 3 hours of time because, you know, something horrible has happened here. She needs to know where she was during that time. So she goes to a psychiatrist who is the hero of the book to help her regain those 3 hours. And in that, she finds out that she's been taken by aliens. And then she has flashes of memory that come back to her, some of it under hypnosis with this psychiatrist, that tell her what had happened to her, what had happened to her. So he deals all the time with people whose memories have come back. And up to this point, he's thinking, well, that's just, you know, delusion. But with her, he understands that's not delusion. So that's, you know, that's the idea of the Interstellar Rescue series.
Well, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. So, here's another one for you. Mm-hmm. So I really like these covers here. Who put these together?
A wonderful artist named Jessica Hildreth did the covers for me. I looked up the models on stock Adobe. I got the models' faces and the images, and gave them to Jessica, and then she put the covers together for me.
Fantastic. Trouble in Mind is the cover that intrigues me the most. The one with the
The gun, yeah.
Just standing there ready to lay the smack down. I'm thinking,
I know. And she's an FBI agent, so she needs that.
no wonder.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got my attention on that one. Great, great cover is what I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not lose our minds.
Thank you. No, I know. I think they're wonderful. She does an awesome job for me.
I got to say, they look so good. It's almost as if it's a movie poster. Maybe are these books going to be adapted into an animated or live action series?
I would love that to happen. Because of the way I think and the way I write, I think they'd make great movies or TV series. I think they really would. Yeah.
Do you have any actors or actresses in mind for certain roles or characters?
No, I mean, when I was writing Unchained Memory, Viggo Mortensen was in my head for Ethan, but he's past that point now, so that can't happen.
Yeah. You can only play Aragorn for so long in the Lord of the Rings.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Which is ironic enough because Lord of the Rings: Return of the King turns the big 2-0 this month. So.
Oh my.
Yeah,
gosh,
20 years since the final chapter of Lord of the Rings came out. Can you believe that? Time flies.
Crazy.
Time flies. Yeah. And it's interesting because there's a lot of movies that turn the big 4-0 next year. I mean, this happens every year, respectively, of course. But with that being said, you got movies turning 40 next year. We got movies turning 30. We got certain movies turning 10, movies turning 25. So we definitely have some special events and movie watch-alongs planned for those. So
great.
Make sure you stay tuned, I should say, or subscribe to this channel is the better term that you should be doing. For those of you watching or listening to this right now, this is, and I quote, with our special guest, our guest of honor, I should say, Donna S. Frelick, here discussing the Interstellar Rescue series, amongst other things. Star Trek. Any Trekkies in the building? Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Donna, by all means, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Whether you're joining this live or on the replay, we thank you. For being here. With that out of the way, do you have any special memories for yourself from being at conventions, whether you're there as a vendor or there as an attendee, that stand out to you?
Oh my gosh. I have not lived until you've seen the Klingons in a conga line. Really. I mean, Shore Leave is just such a wonderful place. Such an accepting group of people, such a wonderful group of people. And because I'm in the dealer's room 90% of my time there, I get to see the great parade of humanity and inhumanity going past my table. And it's just wonderful. I really have a ball at Shore Leave. But back in the day, when I first started going, I was always at the Orion table, and some people are no longer with us from that table. Ann Zewin was my editor with Orion, and she's since passed away. We all miss her from Orion. And we used to have a great time. What we would do is, because a lot of us were writers, we would arrange readings for the Orion Press folks. We would arrange readings for the whole Shore Leave attendees, which were pretty well attended. And then we would read our works in progress in the hotel rooms. We would have parties, of course. And then Glenn and Greg Glash were twins. They are twins. And they were always a lot of fun together. And Glenn, of course, I've just reconnected with because he's been on the podcast with me. He is a big fan of schlocky horror films. So we did a whole series on schlocky horror films, which I thought was hilarious. And then we just did the Star Trek movies. And had a ball. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun at Shore Leave over the years. I think I went probably 12 years or 13 years in a row, and then stopped for a while, and then I've gone back again. Now, I will say, and this is a point of pride for me. This was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, just before Strange New Worlds came out. And Anson Mount and Ethan were there.
I believe it's Ethan Peck.
Ethan Peck. Yes, Ethan Peck were there as guests. And so I usually stay until Monday morning before I pack up and go. So Sunday evenings are, dead.
Gets pretty quiet after a while.
It's very quiet. Everybody's left. There's not much going on.
All the gear has been packed up and packed away.
That's right. Yeah. So I went into the bar there at the hotel, and I'm sitting there having a drink, and these two guys walk in. Ethan and Anson walk in and sit down right next to me at the bar. I'm like this, and there was a guy next to me that I had met at the. I don't know. He was some guy, and he was sitting there. He's like, buy them a drink. I'm like, I'm not going to buy them a drink. I'm going to leave them alone. Let them have their drink. But then they were talking about what was on the menu, and they're trying to decide what to eat. And they're getting ready to make a bad decision. Because there's one item on the menu you do not want to try. And they're like, why would you put, I think it's sweet and sour sauce on calamari. Yeah, it was sweet and sour sauce on calamari. You do not want to order that at the bar. Well, I can say it because the hotel is closed now. So yeah, you don't want to do that. I turned to Ethan. Ethan was sitting right next to me. I said, no, don't do that. I said, you'll regret it. He said, really? It's not good? I said, no, it's not good, man. And so we started talking. And we talked for 2 hours, the three of us. Ethan is the nicest guy ever, just a sweetheart. And we talked about, I'm a big fan of Gregory Peck, big fan. And, Gregory is Ethan's grandfather. So we talked about that. We talked about, how does he maintain
Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah. Well, and
kind of goes without saying.
Moby Dick.
Moby
Dick is
Dick,
one of my favorite movies, which is one of the reasons why I love, the Wrath of Khan, because all the quotes from Moby Dick.
They drop quotes. They drop quotes of Moby Dick in a little indie film called Star Trek: First Contact as well.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite. Anyway, my favorite Trek film.
Yeah. So, okay. And so, we talked about all of that. How do you maintain your weight when you're blah, blah, blah. And then Anson has a podcast. So he wrote the name of his podcast on a napkin, which I still carry around with me. So yeah, we had a ball. That was my claim to fame.
Wow. That's pretty extraordinary there, just as the show is getting its feet wet and becoming a big sensation on the streaming services as well as for Star Trek fans around the globe. And I've known Anson professionally for years. I mean, he was kicking it on NBC Drama's Conviction. He made appearances on Law & Order. He made appearances on Smallville, my favorite show of all time. And he was also the lead actor on AMC's Western drama Hell on Wheels, which I think is
loved Hell on Wheels. I've been a fan of his since Hell on Wheels.
By the way, that's a criminally underrated show.
I believe so.
Hell on Wheels is great. If you're a fan of Westerns of any sort of fashion, please sit down and watch all 5 seasons.
Oh my God, yes.
It's great.
With Common was awesome on that.
Yep. I mean, he was, granted, he did films and other appearances before that show came on the air, respectively, of course, but he was great in the film Wanted, which I think is another criminally underrated movie, Wanted, based off the comic book of the same name with James McAvoy. I mean, the guy ended up playing young Professor Xavier years later. Who'd have thunk? So, and Anson Mount's been a, excuse my language here for just a moment, badass for a very long time. So, the characters he's portrayed on national television. So,
yes.
Well done, Anson. You've moved up the corporate ladder. I mean, look what you've done. You've gone from, appearances here and there to being a regular on Hell on Wheels, and then you get up and go up into space with all those people, all the Star Trek. So, you're rocking it and shocking it. He's got his podcast. I believe it's called The Well. So, you got that
Yes.
going on for you. So, well done, Anson. Maybe we'll have to have you here on the virtual set of And I Quote one day. That would be nice. Anson Mount.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be great. I'd like to pick his brain about Hell on Wheels because that's a criminally underrated show, in my opinion.
Yes.
But
I agree with you.
that's awesome that you got to hang out and spend some time with two of the biggest stars in streaming television right now. So well done. And for those of you wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on, this is And I Quote with the guest of honor, Donna S. Frelick, who's best friends with Ethan Peck and Anson Mount here on this episode. Don't forget to.
Well, I was for, I don't know, 2 hours.
A good portion of our time. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Donna, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Whether you're joining this live or on the replay, we thank you for being here. That is definitely the honest truth.
Yes.
And I do want to let you know that this episode and every episode of And I Quote is indeed powered by our friends over there at Poddex. Now, Poddex are what is known as unique interview questions and episode starting prompts located in the palm of your very own hand. So whether you are a new podcaster or existing broadcaster, such as our guest of honor, Donna S. Frelick, looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out our friends over there at poddex.com. Make sure you use that promo code RYAN10. That's Ryan10 for 10% off your first order. Don't miss out on that opportunity, my friends. So Poddex wants to know, Donna, whom do you secretly envy?
Whom do I secretly envy?
Could be anybody.
Wow. Oh, I don't give that a lot of thought, tell you the truth. Well, I'm not going to name names, but I will say that I came up with a writer. We both started out roughly the same time. And she has had a lot of success with her writing. She has been with a major publisher since we came up. Basically, she got a publishing contract, a traditional publishing contract, and she's been with that traditional publisher the whole time. And I've struggled to find, I mean, I was with a traditional publisher for a short time, and then my agent and / publisher just went off the deep end, and I had to start all over basically as a self-published writer. And I'm, in a way, I'm glad of that. I'm glad to be a self-published writer at this point. But my friend has had a lot of success, and I am happy for her to have all that success. But, you know, in some ways you kind of go, well, gee, I wish I had that kind of support sometimes. But she's doing quite well, and happy to have her do quite well. She's a wonderful person, and I wish her all the best success in the world. But sometimes you just kind of go, gee, how'd that happen? Didn't happen for me. But that's, yes, secretly envy. Won't mention names.
All good with all good. No problems here, folks. So was there something that you asked for repeatedly as a child, but you were always told the word no?
Yes. I always wanted to go to summer camp. I wanted to go to summer camp. You know, that whole Swiss Family Robinson thing. I wanted to go to summer camp, and I was always told no. My mom was a single mom. She couldn't afford it, and I understand that now. I didn't understand it as a kid. And especially since my brother got to go. My younger brother got to go. So evidently that was a thing that guys could do, but not girls. And I think probably that my brother got some help because he was into Boy Scouts, and he probably got some help from somewhere so that he could go. But I never got to go. And I always asked every year, because the Girl Scouts would come to my school and present this film about Camp Sycamore, the Girl Scout camp. And I would go home to my mom and go, I want to go to Camp Sycamore. And I always got a no. So, but now I live in the country I live in the mountains of West Virginia, Western North Carolina, and I might as well be at camp. So,
Gotcha. I wanted to go to
I
camp.
make things happen for me.
There you go. I wanted to go to Camp Sycamore. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, but you still ended up in the mountains somewhere, and you're out in the country doing Lord knows what. And you got your own little summer camp right in your own backyard. Folks, we're down here in the country. We got everything back here.
Deer and everything. Yeah, deers and bunnies and
deers and bunnies and everything. It's like a remake of that little film called Bambi, except no one dies at the end or the beginning like Bambi's mother did. So I'm just saying,
right.
We don't believe in killing the parents off in every Disney film that's ever been made in the history of cinema. For Pete's sake, do you have to kill off the parents? Come on now.
I don't know. Disney had a thing.
Yeah, they wanted to induce childhood trauma for some of us, anyway. I can't speak for everybody. I haven't seen Bambi in like forever. My gosh, man, it's been forever since I've seen. But I know the storyline. I get the characters. I mean, I remember this one character that stood out to me. My name Thumper. I remember. Remember that one? I remember Thumper.
Yes. Yes.
That's
the rabbit.
That's a really quick-witted character there. So my name Thumper. You want to go on an adventure? And then just thumping along. So nothing to see here. Nothing to see. So with the. Gosh, we're going on a tangent here, but anyway, aside
we just
from
took a left,
we zigged when we should have zagged. Yeah. So aside from our love of whether it's being up in the mountains, taking hikes, doing whatever it is to let our imaginations run wild, and living in our own personal summer camp right in our own backyard.
Correct.
What upcoming life event are you excited about?
Life event.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to Shore Leave this year. We will be going to a new venue. I have no idea what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, Lancaster. Well, it's not exactly the middle of nowhere, but almost the middle of nowhere. It's pretty close to where my sister-in-law lives in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And not too far from Lancaster, which is probably close to Intercourse, Pennsylvania. I spent a Christmas in Intercourse one time. That's another story for another time. I am looking forward to Shore Leave. I'm hoping to have this new book, the first book in my Alienville series, which I'm thinking to call Lost Holler, ready for that Shore Leave. So I'm working hard so I can have that ready by that time. So that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Rock on. And yeah, we've mentioned it quite a bit on this show known as And I Quote, as well as our channel. So feel free to look up more information about Shore Leave at www.shore-leave.com. Find out more information on where to get tickets. Also, they have moved to a new venue in what is known as Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So make sure you get all the information at the website. Check them out. It's a great show. We've also covered the event the last few years. We got some vlogs and some special videos of our coverage of Shore Leave. I believe it was 42 and 43. So make sure you check out those videos on our channel, which is at And I Quote channel. All the links are located in the description below. So you're welcome. Free plug, Shore Leave. We love you. Because Shore Leave's a great show. We've been to it numerous times.
Absolutely.
So we've made some good friends, good connections there, and you can make a new friend too. So make sure you check them out at www.shore-leave.com for more information. It's going to be in the month of July of 2024. So make sure you check out more information about that there. Have you ever had a roommate? And if so, what did you hate about it? This is going back a little bit.
Okay, that was out of the blue. Yes, I had a roommate in college, briefly. I was pretty lucky in college. I was mostly in singles in college. But I did have a roommate, and we got along just fine. For the most part, the only thing I didn't like about it was that it's just the privacy thing. I'm an introvert and I have to recharge. So, if there's somebody around all the time, I can't completely recharge. So, it's like one of those batteries that doesn't go all the way down and then you have to recharge again. So yeah, it was hard for me.
Gotcha. Understandable. Let's. Hey, pod decks. They like to be creative with these questions, so you got to give it up to our friends
Okay.
at
All right.
poddex.com. It's they wrote the questions. I'm just presenting them to the person I'm interviewing, or
Okay.
maybe you who are watching or listening to this. If you want to answer these questions presented by Poddex,
Please, yeah, just
let
come
us know
on.
let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear what you have to say about those, respectively. But which actor or actress would play you in what is known as a documentary?
Which actor or actress? Gosh. Oh, good Lord. I don't know. Dolly Parton? I don't know. But you'd have to only from the brain up. I don't know. Gosh. Tilda Swinton? I'd have no clue. I don't think about things like that.
It's all right. We're just, these questions are just meant to be fun. So
I know. I got no idea.
there you go. Tilda Swinton. If I remember correctly, she's played numerous characters in her career. Don't get me wrong, but she played the White Witch in the Chronicles of Narnia franchise that came out about 15, 20 years ago. So, which I think
I just saw her in
as
something like she was in. Okay, I just watched this really stupid movie last night, which
boy,
with Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke. I think Tilda was in that very briefly.
Oh
she
my, that's an all-star cast.
It is. It was a great cast. Kevin Bacon was in it.
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon was in this? Oh my gosh.
Yes, he was. And Mahershala Ali was in it. It was yes. It was on Netflix. It's called Getting Away from the World, or something like that.
Yeah, that's a new one, I believe, on the streaming service.
Yes, but it made no sense. No sense. Not internally, not externally. And then it had a really dumb ending. So
it had a horrible ending. So
and it was 2.5 hours long. Yeah.
Wow.
So no.
That was a bad day at the office for Hollywood. Yes. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
It's like, you know what? I know the writer's strike, but come on.
Wow. That's a great cast too. That's an accomplished
I know. It's a total waste of people. It was horrible.
That's the sad thing. Sometimes they put a great cast together, but the material just isn't great, and the film ends up suffering because of it, because of the material. Not so much the actor's fault, but it's the writing and directing and whatever else.
Yeah.
Going on behind closed doors. Perfect example of this. I saw a movie a couple years ago. This is long before the lockdown. It was called Serenity, and I'm not talking about the movie that's a spinoff of Firefly. I'm not talking about that.
Oh, okay.
This is called Serenity with Matthew McConaughey. Everyone knows who that is. All right.
Yeah.
You got McConaughey, you got Anne Hathaway, you got Jason Clarke, who's an accomplished actor. And was it Jason Clarke? Yeah, and there was a few other actors in there too, for good measure. It just went completely off the rails. About 45 and about halfway through the movie, it went completely off the rails, and I'm thinking, what a waste of my time this is. This is terrible. It's a great cast. Great cast, and the trailer was good too. But then again, we've seen great trailers for horrible movies, and we've seen horrible trailers that actually turn out to be great movies. So we've all been there, ladies and gentlemen. It's happened in marketing.
Yes.
We Lord knows we can do an episode about movie trailers that could be good for your podcast. That's something you want to dive into at some point or another, because movies are great to talk about, but let's talk about how great or how terrible certain trailers can be, but then the movie ends up being a completely different thing. It's almost like night and day. So
yeah.
Which, I don't know, I may want to write that one down. Maybe we'll discuss that on this channel one of these days. Maybe we'll go have Donna here for that. We can discuss it like two movie critiquers, two movie fans, two movie buffs, as you will.
Two movie buffs.
Two movies. Yeah, we can do that.
Thumbs up and thumbs down thing.
Exactly. Yeah, we can have a good discussion about that. Me, you, me, a few other people we can bring on the show, because we have a great round table of guests that we can pick from. But I do want to let you know that this has been an outstanding, that's the word I want to use, outstanding episode of And I Quote with our guest, Donna S. Frelick of the Interstellar Rescue series. Donna, it's been great having you here. It's been educational as well as entertaining. So if someone wants to know more about you or purchase one of your ridiculously good-looking books, where can they follow you on social media, Donna?
Well, I have my website, which is www.donnasfrelick.com. That's the best place to find me because you can get all my other social media links there. Or you can go on Facebook, Donna S. Frelick Author, and I have my own page there. So get all my my other links there. You can link to all my accounts there. I've just recently gone on Mastodon. So if you're on Mastodon, you can find me at either Donna Frelick or on Mastodon Social at Donna S. Frelick Author. I am no longer on the evil Elon Musk's Twitter. So you have to find me on Mastodon. Those are the best places. If you want to go directly and buy my books, I am on Amazon. You can find the Interstellar Rescue series as a series and go to individual book links from the series link under Donna S. Frelick as an author. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us, Donna. It's been great having you here. My name is Ryan of And I Quote channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Also, check out all our links in the description below to follow Donna S. Frelick, myself, and all the incredible things we got going on here at the channel because we are this close to hitting the magic number of 1,000 subscribers. And once we do, we're going to throw a great big live stream celebration that's going to include returning guests, some surprises, and some special giveaways that you, our incredible fans/subscribers, could win, which include 11x17 prints provided by our good friend known as the Art of John Pinto on Instagram and Facebook, including Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Whoa, you can end up winning this. Yeah, taking it home with you. We're going to send it directly to you. You can hang it up in your office space and your home or, wherever you are. Also, if you're a fan of the War in the Stars, also known as Star Wars, which I'm a fan of too, Donna. You can get this one here. You can, get Lord Vader can be hung up on your wall. He can give you inspiration when you're going through a dark time, even though he kind of works for the bad guys. Also, if you're a fan of this property that just turned the big 6-0, Doctor Who, you can end up winning this as well. Look at all those doctors. Oh my gosh. Win that and send that. I know exactly. It's a plethora. Of goods. So if you want to win that and turn to your neighbor and say, "Hello, sweetie," you gotta follow us on social media. Help us reach that number before the end of the year. Help us reach 1,000. It'd be great. Also, if you want to support this show as well as this channel in any way, shape, or form, check out our Buy Me a Coffee link. It's in the description below. You can buy us a pizza in our case because we like pizza. Yeah. Ninja Turtles like pizza. And guess what? So does And I Quote channel. Support the show, spare a slice while supporting us content creators. You can find the link in below, as well as in our bios on our Instagram and other social media handles. Also, it's the holiday season, so treat yourself or treat your friend, your neighbor, your coworker, your friend, or your family member, I should say, to some merch. We got some great merch, including T-shirts. We got hoodies. We got coffee mugs. We got stickers. We have greeting cards. I know, right? Greeting cards, postcards, whatever your heart may desire for And I Quote merch. It's all available to you right now. So check out the links in our social media for that. Also, if you're a fan of the War in the Stars, also known as Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Nerdy Cantina is on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. EST. We're going to have special guests. And we're going to be discussing Star Wars. Why? Because we like Star Wars. And it's fun to have discussions about those sort of things. So why don't you join in? Join in on the conversation. Drop the questions. Drop the thoughts, feelings, whatever it is. You must feel the force around you. And you can feel it on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Because as a wise person once said, do or do not. There is no try.
No try.
So thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell to be notified when our new videos go up or they go live. And remember, life is better when reading. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.